Hartford, Connecticut, Funny Bone, July 30th, 31. Get your tickets. Hartford, Connecticut, Funny Bone. I'll see you soon.
And August 5th through the 8th. This is a little bit down the line, but I'll be there.
Side
Tampa,
Splitters.
Florida. Side Splitters.
The joke's already been done. We don't want to.
I wanted to keep it up. It's my half of the
I thought you were going
studio.
to change it. I thought you were going to change the pictures. Steve's mad because we took down Cliff Richard's pictures and he looked at me like, whatever. Steve's salty. We got salty Steve.
I'm not salty.
And that's a great fucking way to look at you. Sometimes you get salty. You'll throw a drink on somebody when you're driving. You'll fucking cut them off. You'll get in a fight. You'll tell people to pull over on the side of the road, which is the craziest shit in the world because that's how you get shot in Nashville.
No, I don't cut people off.
But you challenge people to fight out of their car. That's how you get shot in Nashville. You can't do that.
No, I didn't challenge the guy. You're talking about an incident where I was driving with Dallas.
Yeah.
Right? And
you
I
said pull over.
I said to Dallas, I said, we should just beat the fuck out of this guy.
Yeah. But
I never looked at him and go, pull over.
In a state where everybody carries a gun.
Yeah.
Shuck. That's what happens. If you come at him, he goes, bop, bop. And it's like, he was coming at me.
Right.
And people get that on their video.
That can't happen if you don't say pull over. Because I didn't see that.
But you were throwing, if you throw water, if you're spraying them and guys get mad, shuck, they start doing that.
Yeah. You know when guys get mad? Is when you literally cut somebody off when there's zero space in between you and the other car.
So in other words, you're ready to go when that happens.
I wasn't necessarily ready to go, but
the point is you get salty right quick.
This is my issue this morning. It's astounding to me how many people are horrible at their jobs.
Yes, that is fucking for sure.
I can't tell you how many times I've been on the phone with customer service and you got to hit 15 fucking times to get through to somebody. And then when you talk to somebody for the 8th time about a product, a service, whatever it might be, and it's just astounding. You could talk to the same person and be like, how do you, are you proud when you go to work?
Yeah.
By the way,
that's my problem with government-run organizations because
they can't get fired. They don't give a shit.
There's no accountability. So who gives a shit? There's no accountability.
Even when I was a host at Caroline's, that's how I got into stand-up comedy. At a college, I was a host at Caroline's, and I would seat people. I had people always offer me money to give them better seats.
Yeah.
And I'd give them better seats, and I wouldn't take the tip because I was no, this is my job. I had a guy try to slip me $100 one time, and I was a kid and I should have taken it. But at a principal, I was like, I won't take it. It's my job. And I still took pride in that job. Yeah, well, and that's why I dress in a suit when I go on stage, because I take pride in my occupation. Unlike you dress like you went to the mailbox.
Now,
what?
Dude, I'm wearing a shirt that brings out my eyes. And the glow in my skin. And I don't care what anybody says.
There's less glow on this side because my fucking decorations got taken off.
Yeah, I mean, how long do we want to keep Cliff where it reaches up? So you're decorating your cubicle.
Where did the pictures go? In the trash?
No, they're here. I don't know. They're right over there. You're decorating your side of the cubicle with Cliff.
That's right. Yeah.
Just your side.
Yeah, I'd get some bobbleheads at some point. I'll get some shit. I'll put some stuff up. I'll make it nice, and it'll feel like home to me.
You have a little shelf in the back and stuff.
Yeah, that felt home to me. And you came in.
And there's your jersey.
Like a fucking jaded housewife, and took all my shit down and go, this is not how we do things in this house.
He took it down. I was like, hey, should we take those down?
No, you emptied it then.
No, I did.
You prompted it.
Well, I just figured, do we want to keep those up?
Why couldn't you just do it? Why'd you have to have a lackey do it?
Well, no, he's not. He was here first.
No, because you pay him?
Well, he's an
employee, so you do it.
Look, he makes $40,000 an episode. Now, here's the thing. And for that, I feel like he can.
So why didn't you take him down?
Well, if I'm paying him $60,000 an episode, I feel like he should be,
No, because of this moment. That's why you couldn't take him down. Yeah. Because you knew in this moment, if you took him down, you'd be staring down the barrel of a shotgun, you piece of shit.
Salty Stevie! Salty fucking Stevie! Now, Danny, Kid Dynamite took a lot of time to compile a bunch of videos that I didn't know existed because I didn't look at the emails, and neither did you, and neither did Anthony, apparently.
What?
So Danny this morning goes, I spent like a long time getting the video submissions, and none of you fuckers looked at it. And so I said to Anthony, hey,
Was this the one that just came in today?
We had video submissions Tuesday and Wednesday that we could have, like, it could have been part of the show. But now we have them. Now they're all.
Now we have a great episode.
I know.
Let's do it.
That's right. I need it like that.
Let's bring your dad in.
Dude.
No, let's bring your dad in so he can just drive a conversation and not hear.
Yeah, he likes to drive it, doesn't he?
He doesn't like to listen.
No.
He doesn't like to hear the tags or the funnies inserted, but he was great.
He's going to drive it.
Well, he's definitely driving.
For people who want to know
stories that he did too, I would keep driving too. It's like he's met with presidents. He's met with senators.
Done a lot of that. He's done a lot of stuff he hasn't even mentioned. But, look, some of that stuff, though, we're going to edit some of it because He told me about the covert secret ops shit that he used to do till he blew out his knee. Yeah, till he blew out his knee.
So
he used to kill with a knife.
Yeah.
That's all you guys need to know. He's not a lumber. He's too lumbering. He's too big. How's he going to fucking
looks amazing, by the way, for 81.
He's got good genetics, dude. You see how sharp his mind is? And his voice is so clear. There's no gravel to his voice. He's not an old man. Mm-hmm. He's got all his teeth. Yep. Fucking, I don't know, genetics.
He looks great.
So do I, buddy. So do I. All right.
He reeks of success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has
an aura about him.
I think a lot of it has to do, I think all of it has to do with the fact that he's super honest about everything.
Well, he's super honest, but he's also very well learned.
Yeah, well, that's
he's
for
experienced.
Damn sure. Yeah.
Very confident.
Yeah, I told you the story when my friend said,
all
the
things you don't have. What happened?
I don't know. I told you the story.
Did he hug you?
No. he was 70. He was 70 or maybe 72. And my friend came in and goes, hey, Mr. Callen, how you doing? And I said, hey, how you doing? I got this, my friend. And then that's all I said. And he goes, all right, I'll see you later. And my father was reading, and my father said, what's that guy do? And I said, he's a writer. My father said, I suspect that's not going to work out for him.
Jesus.
And I went, and of course I knew this. And I went, how did you know that? And he went, pattern recognition. I've been around the block about 50 times.
Jesus Christ.
And he was spot on. He just saw that guy walk in and knew right away that it wasn't going to happen for that guy. And it didn't happen for that guy.
And has there ever been a moment where you go in, you knocked on his study door,
dude,
and you walk in and he's sipping something and he drinks it like this with the stem right there, and you go, what about me, Papa?
I did. That was my whole childhood, and still is.
What about me,
Papa? What about me? Papa, I need some attention. The reason I'm a comic is I got no attention. I had to compete with that.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't loved properly. Not properly. The fucking guy, you know, his head was in a book. Right. Or he was always traveling. Made me tough as fucking nails. I don't need love. Nah, he cracks me up, that guy. Wait, I was going to say something that you reminded me of. Wait, what were we talking about before this?
Hold on. Let me ask you this then. Hold on.
But you reminded me of something.
Did you have a fractured relationship with your father younger, and then it got better as you got older, or is it always...
No, I mean, my father was...
Because it seems like we're touching on something here.
Well, my father was always traveling, right? So he was always gone.
Right.
And so I think when your father's always gone...
Right.
Because of his work.
Right.
And also because he, you know...
Didn't love you?
No. We were also...
Didn't feel attachment to you.
I was always moved every year and a half, right?
He didn't feel like you were his.
I'm not his. But we were moved every year and a half, right? I didn't grow up in one house. I didn't grow up in one neighborhood, in one country. I didn't grow up in one continent.
Right, okay.
So when you're constantly moved and your dad's always traveling... There's no there's not a community. It's not like he was not a hands-on dad. There wasn't I was a high
I'm gonna make you cry. I'm gonna make you cry today.
Impossible. But in high school, high school, I was a pretty good wrestler, right? I'd done well in the New England.
And you always looked up in the stands, and there was an empty seat, and it was fucking, where's Papa?
He came to one,
and Mommy said, Bryan, he wanted to be here so bad.
In 4 years, I was in boarding school.
And then you just got pinned, and you're looking up at that empty seat. What
Didn't get pinned, motherfucker. Hey, look at me. Didn't get pinned. Didn't get pinned. You know what I mean? Didn't get pinned. Didn't get pinned.
Okay. Goddamn.
But to your point, in 4 years of wrestling, he came to one tournament. But he was always gone. And I remember it was boarding school, so I lived far away from them. And by the way, watch
Wiping
this.
your tears with your tie.
I took third in the All New Englands, but he had to leave after 2 matches because I gotta go because I gotta catch a flight. So so that was my normal.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, and then I think the only time we had some tension was when things weren't going well for him for just a small window.
Right.
And then he and I like just weren't talking because he thought I was going to be a failure as an actor. So he was stressed about that. So he thought he was going to have to fucking support me the rest of his life. So he was kind of like, I think it was a combination. One was this fucking kid is fucking off and I spent all his money on college and he wants to be an actor.
Right.
He didn't know from acting. He didn't know if I could do it. I don't blame him.
Right.
And then on top of that, I think he felt like his dad was totally non-existent. His dad was fucking just gone.
Right.
So he felt in his mind, he loved me. Mm-hmm. I always knew that, but also he gave me a lot. Like so he worked all the time. So I had a childhood that he never even dreamed of, right?
Right.
So there's resentment sometimes that can build up where you're like, this fucking kid, fucking, he's just lollygagging around. He's an actor, you know. So I was annoying to the guy, but I knew that.
Right.
I fucking knew that. I felt it and I got it. Like I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'd be annoyed at me too. I would. And so we were able to navigate that. But I think we have a great relationship now because we both share a core set of values. I didn't need to have him around all the time. If he had been around, my mother said, if he'd been around, if he wasn't traveling, and that motherfucker was part of my sporting life, you know how competitive he is? He won't do something unless there's a competition.
Right.
He will not do it unless he's going to win. So if he ever took that competitive spirit and put it on me, it would have been bad. Because I'm not exactly very passive either.
You would have been successful.
Look at the way I'm crying. It's funny because you know what? I'm starting to learn how I'm going to raise my kids. My kids are too soft.
It's too late. They're old now.
Too nice to them. Nah, I got to fucking start being a little neglectful. Because you know what it does, Steve? Makes you fucking independent and tough. You don't need a lot of hugs and loves.
I disagree.
You're right.
I think life is tough enough.
Listen, man.
I think life will kick a kid's it'll kick kids' teeth in so quick every day. The minute they go to school, the minute they go to camp, the minute they're playing sports, it's like my mindset is to be as supportive as possible.
You're a great
when
dad.
I'm there,
but I think my dad was a great dad. Actually, I really do. Even though he was around, the one thing that was never in doubt, was that I was the most important thing to him. So even though he was gone, he would always say that so we could hear that.
Right.
He'd say, my wife and my kids are far more important than anything in my life. So when you hear that over and over again, oh, and by the way, when he would get so mad at me for having bad grades, like so fucking mad at me, he'd look at my report card. He'd be like, what is this? What is this? You're fucking around and you're playing grab ass and he'd get so angry. My mother would have to doctor. She would literally stencil in fake grades.
Oh, really?
I'm not kidding. Because so when you know your dad gives a shit that much, that's a form of love.
What is this?
That's a form of love.
Yeah.
I like that cry.
When I was at Huntsville and I saw your set, those are the same 3 words I said to myself.
What's that?
When I saw you perform, I said, what is this? What is this? And I was waiting to see you afterwards, and I was going to ask you that, and I had to get home because I was so disgusted.
You salty today, man.
I couldn't wait to get cut off so I could start a fight on my ride home. So what did you want to bring up? I'm sorry.
Cut me off.
But I wish to God I had started this conversation yesterday when your dad was here.
That would have been a great conversation. Because my dad would have been like, you're right. Yeah, he was a bit of a... I remember that. I remember just being like, I'm going to be an actor. I remember telling him that, and he looked like he didn't want to say, you don't want to tell your kid not to have his dreams. My dad just went, and he looked at me and he goes, all right, well, and he goes, I'll pay your rent. You know, that's what he said. I never forgot that. He said, I'll pay your rent. I was 24 at the time, or 23. And he said, I'd been working as a temp, you know, and doing all this stuff. And he goes, I guess I'll pay your rent if you need it. And that was cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And I said, nah. And he goes, nah, I don't want you to have to make ends meet the way I did. Because if you have to make ends meet and hold down 2 jobs, you're not going to work on your acting. And you have the luxury of having me pay your rent. So do that.
Yeah.
I never forgot that. I was like, all right. So that took a lot of pressure off me.
It's, you know, it's so funny because I have a very healthy relationship with my father. My father's just, you know, very Irish, very loving, outgoing, very intelligent, deep, dense vocabulary, reads nonstop, and came from nothing, you know, like literally would go to a bar and order a soda and eat the pickles.
Yeah.
Because they were free at the time for dinner. Well, I was getting some through college, and always, I remember one night my father came to see me at the Comedy Cellar, and my dad's like, all right, love you, son. I'm like, love you, Dad. And then Bobby Kelly's like, love you? And Bobby Kelly, as you know, he's got a very horrible childhood. And he had this... I
didn't know he had a bad childhood.
Oh, yeah. He went to juvie and all that shit. And he worked on this bit, and he was telling me, he's like, you ever see my bit? And he's like, you know, when you say I love you to somebody, it's supposed to be something nice. It's the greatest thing you can say to somebody. He's like, or it could be the most crippling. Like when you hear your father say, I love you for the first time and you're in your 20s, and he just starts breaking down. He's crying. He's like, what the fuck did you say to me?
He's such a great comic. I miss Bobby Lee. What's he up to? Not Bobby Lee. I mean,
Bobby Kelly. Bobby Kelly's got a great podcast called You Know What, Dude? Because that's how he talks, and he's got so like Colin Quinn and Norton and all the New York heavy hitters on all the time, and he's just a great guy.
He's also a one hell of a stand-up comic, man.
One of the best. And I think back in the day, you replace physicality with writing, and he and I were very energetic, and we would literally finish our sets at the Comedy Cellar and walk up and go in the stand-in cooler for 7 minutes to like cool off because we were so energetic. Wow. But I remember my father when I was younger, this was something I wanted to remember for my kids. When I was little, I won't forget this, but I was on a swing set and I couldn't like get the mechanics and physicality and coordination down to get myself to swing. I had to have somebody push me. Yeah. And this one kid said, oh, Stevie can't swing. Steve can't swing. Steve sucks at swinging. And I went home and I was like, yeah, these kids are making fun of me at the playground. He's like, why? I'm like, well, they said I can't swing. He's like, well, can you? I go, no. He goes, well, then there you go. And he walked away. And I was like, yeah, it's so fair. At the time, it hurts. But it was one of those things where I don't know why you think of the countless conversations you have with a parent. And that was like one that I always remembered. I was like, that was really honest. And you know, he's right. Pretty much it. He's not going to be like, no, son, you're a great swinger. You're the best at swinging. And
you need more of that in life.
Yeah.
You know, my son wants to be on the all-star lacrosse team, but he doesn't want to practice. I'm like, you gotta throw the ball against the wall and practice your stick drills. He's like, no, Dad, I don't want to do that. I go, okay, so you won't be on the team. That's cool. I just walked away. No fucking big deal. I'm not gonna baby you. You're 9, dude. You're fucking 9.
Yeah.
You know better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear, you know, and if you don't, there's nothing better. There's no better teacher than life. Like you didn't practice enough. It's like my favorite. I wanted to go to Wesleyan because my love of my life was going there. Yeah. I didn't have the grades. And I was all mopey. And my dad on the phone, never forgot, I'm in boarding school. He goes, well, you in order to be a Wesleyan student, you've got to be a Wesleyan student. And to be a Wesleyan student, you've got to do what a Wesleyan student does. But you're not willing to do what a Wesleyan student does. Therefore, you're not a Wesleyan student. So the process is fair. It was so great. I'm like, you're right.
The enunciation of every syllable
that fucking guy.
is everything a parent... You are a fucking moron. It's just like, that's so like, oh, it's so great.
Oh, it's the best.
That's every parent right there.
Now, my mom will warn you about, she has an opinion about everything.
Yeah.
And I mean about everything.
Well, the apple does not fall far.
That is true. That is fucking true, dude. No, I'll own that. I'll own that, Salty. And you're right. But you know what else? You know what else we call salties? You know what a salty is?
What else?
You know what a salty is? You don't know what a salty is?
Good. What is it?
Watch out for them salties.
What is it?
That's crocodile. That's what they call them. That's what they call them in Australia.
You mean the saltwater crocodiles?
That's right, buddy. That's what they call them. And yeah, you don't want to fuck around with them. They're in brackish water and you food.
You food. Okay.
Human, you food.
No, Australia, you could get, like, it's
so scary.
You could just be walking and something will fuck you up. A kangaroo will fuck you up.
I know, dude. It terrifies me. Anyway, yeah, I think you're right. I'm not loved, and that might be a problem.
When is the last time you...
When was the last time?
When is the last time your father said he loves you?
Recently.
Honestly, when is the last time?
We're not a big I love you family. It's a little awkward, dude. Yeah.
Do you guys hug?
No, my dad and I hug now.
Does he, like, when he leaves, does he leave and then he just turns around and says, Bryan, and then he just walks and he says it, but he doesn't?
Nope. And I'll tell you this. My dad came home. He came home to New York City and he goes like this. He goes, Jesus Christ. He goes, I go, what? He goes, my accountant or someone, I don't know who it was. Let's just, for shits and giggles, it was his accountant. He goes, my accountant, it wasn't his accountant actually, because I know his accountant. It was another dude his guy who he does his stuff with, and he goes, let's call it his accountant. He goes, my accountant gets in the cab, looks at me and goes, love you. And I was checking my fly. I'm like, is my dick hanging out? Like, that's how he looks at things. He's like, love you? Don't tell me you're a grown man. I don't know you that well. Don't hit me with love you. Like, he doesn't like that stuff.
Yeah. Do you?
No.
You don't like it?
No, I mean, I what do you mean? Like I'm way more affectionate.
I have one or two.
I'm way more affectionate.
I say it to my kids all the time. I say it to my wife all the time.
I do too.
I have one or two best friends as guys that I say that to.
Yeah.
And it's reciprocal.
And it's true.
Yeah.
If it's true, it's true. I got, people I love.
I've never said it to you.
Yeah, you have. Yes, you have.
Have I?
Yeah, you have.
Fuck, I said it for
you
the funnies.
You fucking have. Love you. And you go like this. I love you. Yeah. And you did. You called me one time.
No.
And you were drunk and you go, I love you. And I was like, oh, hey, Steve.
So far.
And you were like, did you hear me? And I was like, I got to go. And you go, no. Shh. I love you. And then there was a pause. And then you FaceTime me and you weren't wearing pants. And I'm not the same.
And I said, this is the part where you say it.
I was like, okay.
How about mom? Does mom say I love you?
No.
At all. Mom doesn't.
I mean, lots of love, but we are very awkward with that.
Okay.
We were made to feel awkward about the Irish and the Italian. We were both made to feel awkward about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm Irish.
Yeah. My old girlfriend said that my family has an issue with intimacy. We're not very good with intimacy.
Yeah.
Because you got to be vulnerable to be intimate.
So family dinner for you guys is you guys sitting around and talking about the Israel and Palestinian conflict as opposed to, like, what did you do today?
That's 100% true.
Okay.
In fact, when that and Danny can tell you that we never talk about everyday things, which is a problem. We talk about what's wrong with the world in broad scope, issues. And so I think part of the reason I became an actor was it was the only place I could emote. Right. So maybe I was drawn to that because it was the only place I could, because I was an emotional kid,
Yeah.
It was the only place I could emote and not feel shame.
So dinners for you were like a, Hyannisport with the Kennedys.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And emotion was considered a weakness.
Yeah.
Right? If you're Irish, the Irish are not, you don't show your fucking emotions.
Right.
not Irish. Culturally,
Right.
with the Irish,
Well, that's
you
Catholicism.
turn it. That's especially Irish, but maybe it is Catholicism too. It's also like Western. It's also the idea that the passions must give way to reason. That your emotion must give way to logic.
Right.
That giving into your emotion is to give into the flesh, right? In the inner beast and the higher mind, the rational mind should always be in control. That's Socrates, that's Plato, that's Aristotle.
Right.
Although Aristotle was like, well, we're also flesh and bone, dude. Like, come on. That you're not just a fucking mind. You're also like, Aristotle goes, watch a woman give childbirth and tell me that we're just minds. We're flesh and bone.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, even being so immersed here in Hollywood and, people say Jews run the industry, whatever, that I don't believe that that's the case, but there are an overwhelming amount of Jews involved in the industry. And it's funny when you see the disparity in how people handle things. Like, because I'm Irish Catholic, there's an enormous sense of guilt. Like, I don't deserve this. Even if something's good is happening, I don't deserve this because Jesus died for my sins, and I feel guilty, and I got to be bestowed these things. And then the Jews are like, no, I'm chosen. I'm the chosen one. I deserve this. And there's this different mentality. I'm like, fuck,
the Jews also, there's also, with being chosen comes huge responsibility. So Jewish guilt is also the idea that I'm not doing enough.
Right.
So there's something called Catholic guilt and there's something called Jewish guilt. And part of what happens if you're told you're the chosen people, fuck, that's a big responsibility. Now what do I do with that? So God said, you guys are special.
Especially when
I better live up to God's words or I'm really in trouble.
Right.
And so that's a huge part of, I think, but and one of the things that's interesting about when people say, well, the Jews ran Hollywood. Well, the great storytellers and directors, if you look at like the people that actually founded Hollywood,
right,
Mayer and all those guys, they were all a lot of times they were refugee Jews or they were Jews who where the arts and individual expression has always been a fucking huge thing for the Jews. In fact, one of the things that the Russians in the ghettos, in the Jewish ghettos, because the Russians kept the Jews, the Zionist movement was born in Russia. It was born during the pogrom. Pogrom is a Russian name for essentially slaughter all the Jews, blame them and kill them all.
I thought it was a dough.
What's that?
Sorry?
And it was a dough. But the idea was the Russian census takers could never understand. They were always amazed when they go into the Jewish ghetto. They'd be like, these people have nothing but books. Like the one thing they had was their intellect, was their mind, because that's what they could bring with them. When they had to leave, because they always had to get the fuck out, because they would, people would be coming to kill them. The one thing they brought was their knowledge. Right. And what was really important was artistic expression in the Jewish community from day one. So even if you were starving, you played the violin every day. Right. You wrote a book. You read a book. It was the idea. The really important thing.
They were patterned after the Asians. It sounds like.
Well, no, there's a difference. There's a big difference.
Oh, they were chosen.
Nope. So the Jewish in the Jewish mythology, an individual can change time. The individual can actually literally change. So if you have the Alpha and the Omega, which is the beginning of time and the end of time,
right?
As an individual along that straight line, you can change everything. Moses, Freud, Einstein, whatever it might be. As an individual, the responsibility is to think originally and come up with a better way to do it. Because, by the way, you're always on the outside looking in anyway.
Right.
And so that's tradition. Asian notion, the Asian mythology is that you're not going to change anything as an individual. First of all, time is circular. It's cyclical. It's not a straight line. It's not alpha and omega.
Right.
It's kind of infinite, right? And you are a small tree on a large branch. So it'd be as an individual, as an Asian person, you're way more, you're brought up to understand your relationship to the outer world around you.
Right.
You are not the oak tree. You're the tiny leaf on that oak tree, and you do your duty. You fit in harmoniously. That would be Confucius's thing
Right.
with the world. There's a fundamental difference between that and Western.
Just for the record, we have a white man telling me how I should be Asian. So get ready for a fucking news flash, Brian. That's not how the world works. But we would not have stand-up comedy if it wasn't for the Jews, because we have
100%.
the Catskills, we have the Borscht Belt,
We wouldn't have
we
improv.
have vaudeville.
Improv was a Jewish invention.
Yeah.
The Second City, the founders of Second City were Jewish.
Right.
Russian Jews.
Well, I think the reason that the studio heads in the 30s, 40s were Jewish. But obviously, as the decades have worn on, that has dissipated to a degree where I don't believe it's as applicable today as it was yesteryear.
There's a lot of anti-Semitism right now, major amount, more than
today,
we can,
more than
more than we can remember. And not to mention a lot of Asian hate. And if you have these deep anti-Semitic views, do me a favor. All I'm asking, go and just Google what the Jews have invented, what they've won Nobel Prizes for. Take a look at it. You'll be a little blown away. Everything from stainless steel to the Geiger counter to the X-ray. I mean, just take a look at what the contribution has been.
Yeah.
It's fucking. It'll floor you.
Well, I went to Israel in 2014, and it was. We've talked about this in the past on the podcast. I don't want to get too deep into it, but it is one of those things when you go to the Holocaust Museum there, when you see these semblances of hate and understanding that this little match that occurred yesterday could turn into what had occurred in the early 40s, and what we did our best to prevent and stop as a country. It's beyond words.
Look,
is what
my
I'd say.
nephew's friend had a
whatever. All the words depressing, heartbreaking, et cetera, words I don't think justify it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot going on. Let's go to our fan submission videos.
Ooh.
Let me see what we got here, man. Let's see what we fucking got.
And thanks to Danny for getting this.
Oh, look at this. A question on Catholicism.
Hi, Big and Hungry podcast. I'm a big fan. My question is, what do you think about Catholicism? What do you like about it? And what don't you like about it? Thank you guys very much.
Steve, you were just talking about it.
What do I like about it? Me personally, well, I grew up with it ingrained in me, so it's a big part of my childhood. And as you grow older, and as I've seen the leadership from the Catholic Church, and I think that's the reason why there's been an enormous exodus from traditionalists like myself. I was somebody that went to Catholic church every Sunday with my parents growing up, and I would frequent churches, Catholic churches in town when I was on the road. When I was in New York City, I'd pop in quite a bit. And as that's permeated the news culture, it's definitely turned me away from the leadership. But going back to my own faith, I still have the faith within me, and I pray every night before I go to bed. And I do have a lot of the stereotypes associated with Catholicism ingrained in me in terms of the guilt and everything else. But I think it is that's the negative for me. The positive for me is kind of the roadmap of how to live your life, and how to, the golden rule and all that stuff, and how to treat it. I think it's good to have some parameters for how to live your life, as opposed to it just being a blank slate, understanding that you should be held accountable for your actions ultimately. And I think that's permeated through different factions of religion. But for me, I happen to grow up Irish Catholic, and that's my 2 cents. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I think that Catholicism, I like the idea of forgiveness, and I like confession.
Yes.
I like those two things, right? But I think that when you have a hierarchy, when you have an institution like the Vatican that has that much money, that much history,
yeah,
and is that much power,
yeah,
and it has is beholden to its own rules because it's its own country, and you are harboring that many pedophiles because the Catholic Church became a place for pedophiles and predators to put on the cloth and abuse that, and use that as a way to get to children.
Yeah.
And also, I don't like that you have to take a vow of celibacy necessarily, because this is going to change. But a lot of gay men who couldn't face that because they'd be ostracized from their own family or whatever had to go into the church out of guilt, out of trying to cure themselves.
Well, that doesn't sound like a bad recipe.
What do you mean? I know. You're around now. Well, now there was the journalist who was gay, who lived at the Vatican for a year and wrote a book and said, this is a boys' club. It is primarily gay men and pedophiles. And the pedophiles are threatening to expose the gay men. The gay men are threatening to expose the pedophiles. And there's a lot of sex going on and all kinds of stuff. So all the criticism of the Vatican, much of it is well earned. I'm sorry.
I believe so.
And a lot of the fact that the Catholic Church didn't and still hasn't atoned for what they actually did in their abuse of children worldwide. And you had these fucking cardinals that were transferring priests to different parishes
with no punishment
when they fucking knew that they were raping children. I got no time for that, and I think they should be all in jail. And so, they have been scarred, they've been tarnished, and they deserve it. And
Bryan,
the Catholic Church will never ever atone for that. So.
Do you remember the last time you saw the Pope? This is pre-quarantine. This made the news. He was walking through a crowd of people in Vatican City, and as he was walking through, there was a woman that grabbed the Pope's wrist. She grabbed his wrist, and then he slapped her on the wrist.
Yeah.
He slapped the woman on the wrist, which is the same punishment he gives to pedophiles. These are the jokes.
All right, moving on. Let's see what this guy's got to say.
Where's the nearest dispensary?
Animal fight question, and I need to know who would win between a grizzly bear, a full-grown male grizzly bear, and a Callen back gorilla. You know,
I got a back on me.
Big lat Callen back gorilla. They're similar to a silverback, not quite as muscular.
All right, I got
in their arms, but they've got this big.
All right, now
he makes me want to drink.
Yes, he's got.
I'd
some
be like,
kind of
I'll get a shot with that guy right now.
I think his podcast is waking up in a brewery. He plugged it.
Yeah.
What do you think,
first
Steve?
off, the minute he says I have an animal question, I know you're fucking rock hard.
Well, I am, but go ahead,
Boing.
Steve. Silverback gorilla,
and a black bear,
full-grown grizzly bear, no black bear, full-grown.
If I'm in Vegas, my money's on the silverback. Okay, explain this to me.
It's adorable. So here's how it goes. Silverback doesn't have a fucking prayer, not a prayer. Mm-hmm. In fact, Silverback's going to be food. Let me tell you
Hold
why.
on. A silverback is all muscle.
Oh yeah,
all muscle, and a bear
pounds.
is just like a
6 foot, 600 pounds. That's right, 6 foot, 600 pounds. Silverback. I'm giving you the biggest silverback. I'm giving you the baddest.
You're taking a bear though.
Now the bear, full-grown grizzly.
Are we talking
bear,
right out of hibernation, or are we talking end of season bear?
We're going to call it a full-grown grizzly bear. If you say grizzly bear, okay. I'm getting the bears that live on fish at certain times of the year. And I'll even do you better, but I'm going to give you the. So I'm talking about bears that get up to 1,000 pounds, maybe even 1,200 pounds. All right. So a 1,200-pound grizzly bear, that's got those jaws and those claws with that kind of power and speed. The only chance a fucking mountain gorilla has is if it can get behind the grizzly bear and choke it out. But it doesn't know jujitsu. Does it, Steve? Does it? No, it doesn't. The other thing it could do maybe is grab it and keep it from biting it.
Right.
But that grizzly bear is going to barrel that fucker over on his back, pin him to the ground, and bite his fucking face.
Okay, so it's because it's twice its weight.
Yeah, and also it's got crazy jaws. You're talking about 1,200-pound wild dog, dude, with a giant head.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And did you say that they were slow, or did you say that something about them being fat and not all muscle?
Well, because you look at a grizzly bear and it's just like It's like a pillowcase that's not full.
Oh, that's adorable. Guess you haven't seen how fast they are when they fight other grizzlies.
You are so happy right now.
Hey, Anthony, bring up grizzly bear running full speed and catching an elk. Yeah, they'll catch an elk. You know what I mean, babe? Kid Dynamite. Bring it up, man! Look at this thing fighting the fucking bison. Don't fuck with them. Please don't fuck with them.
Do you mean to pull that up?
Which one?
The fighting the bison?
You can see the way they... yeah, you can... That or, you know, they're just no joke. I don't know if they're going to fight that.
How fast can a grizzly bear run right here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're just prancing. What is that? Is that like a moose?
That would be an elk.
That is an enormous elk.
God damn.
Oh, they'll run fast, dude. They run 30 miles an hour sometimes, I think. And they'll chase you down. And they can come at you for a while. That's a grizzly bear, bro.
The scary thing is, too, they can climb trees.
No, grizzlies don't climb trees.
They don't?
No. But they'll
35 miles an hour.
35 miles an hour.
A Kia could go 35 miles per hour, Brian. I'm not impressed.
Oh, come on, dude. Can you believe that?
He couldn't even catch him.
He's just running. He's out for a run.
He's gassed.
He's out
He's
for a
gassed,
run.
dude.
Yeah, he's out for a run.
He's tired.
By the way, the answer is
this is unimpressive. You brought up a video. I thought I was going to be blown away, and it was a dud.
If you put a human brain in a silverback, where the silverback can throw those hands in combinations and grab that fucking bear and put him in a guillotine or wrap his arms around that bear, get behind that bear, the bear's going to have some issues.
Yeah.
If the grizzly, I mean, remember the gorilla has 4 hands. 4 fucking hands. So what I'm doing if he gets me on my back, I'm taking my other hands that are on my feet, grabbing his back paws and pushing them out, and then I'm holding on to his head. All right, or maybe, and then I'm sweeping him. I'm sweeping him.
Okay.
Or I'm letting him tire out. I'm holding on to him like that underneath, or I'm just getting under him and bear hugging him and holding on to him, staying out of that maw. And he's gonna get tired, and I'm gonna fucking climb him. I'm gonna swivel up around his back. Now I get his back, and I'm putting double hooks into his hips.
Yeah.
And good fucking luck, Grizzly, because now I'm sinking my arms deep, and I'm choking you the fuck out. Yeah. And I believe a full-grown silverback has the arm length to choke out a grizzly bear, no doubt, and he could kill it. But you gotta be able to withstand the onslaught, the crazy bite power and power in general. That grizzly bear, if that grizzly bear puts its mouth on you, we got big fucking problems, dude. Because guess what? That grizzly bear shuts your arm muscles and nerves down. So if that motherfucker grabs onto your arm, Mr. Gorilla ain't got but 1 arm. Well, now he's got 3 arms, not 4. You need all 4 arms, bro.
This is the Big and Hungry podcast. If you have a question about Catholicism, we'll spend 2 minutes on it. If you ask us if a gorilla fights a grizzly bear, what'll happen? 8 fucking minutes on this subject matter. What's the next question? Jesus Christ.
I've had the debate before. I've had the debate, man. You can't open
on this very subject matter?
You can't open up a can of worms like that.
What's the next question? Jesus Christ.
Sorry, man. What's up, Lance from Texas? How you doing, Steve? What's up, Bryan? Question for Steve, man. What's it like working with a geriatric?
Piece of shit.
You know?
Look at this.
Having to co-host with a dude who has life alert around his chest.
Why are you making fun of old people?
You certainly don't ditch people on dinner dates. And you eat pretty kick-ass food, so...
Did I ditch somebody on a dinner date?
Fuck you, Bri.
Yeah, he's referring to the video that I posted.
Bryan.
Salty Steve calls
Oh,
you
Salty
out
Steve.
for missing dinner.
This son of a bitch. Listen, you make fun of old people too. You make fun of like that woman Marjorie or whatever who was in our
I don't
thing.
just make fun of old people. I make fun of old black people.
Racist and ageist. Racist and ageist.
You don't look your age, to just compliment you off of that video, but what is it like eating soft foods?
Steve.
Do you miss steak or corn on the cob? Can you eat corn on the cob?
I had steak twice yesterday.
Can you eat corn on the cob?
I don't want to talk to you. I don't eat corn, dude. I don't eat corn. That's hilarious. I'm gonna eat corn. I'm gonna eat a grain like that. I'm gonna eat a useless grain. Okay.
Right.
Well, what's next? Corn muffins, huh? You like your corn muffins with some jam and some butter? I don't eat soluble fiber.
All right.
Sorry.
This kid's cute.
Bryan, Steve.
First of all, stop for a second.
Gay owl and the big.
He's sitting like this, I think. I'm looking at his arms.
He's a cute kid.
Yeah, he's cute, and his arms are like that.
On the big fat fuck. Boys, I need a little advice, okay? I'm entering my 6th and final year of university, and to be quite candid with you, I didn't want to go in the first place. I just kind of went because that's what you're supposed to do. But now entering my 6th year, I have no idea what I want to do. And I don't really want to belong to polite society. To be quite candid with you, I find these people repulsive. It's a little harsh, but it is what it is, man. So I don't know if you guys have a little advice about how to figure out what the fuck I want to do. Other than reading Bryan, I'm going into 6 years of university now. I've read enough, man. Do you have any other advice? I could really use
Sometimes you do have to put down the books.
Anthony, if you read my last name off this email, I'll fly to Los Angeles and vomit in your mouth.
Well, now we need to know what his last name is, right?
He's a good-looking kid. And sometimes you got to put the books down and live.
This is what I was going to say. It sounds like he needs a little experience.
Yeah.
He needs to kick some tires. He needs to get out there. He needs to make some mistakes. He needs to just take 2 years and just get the fuck out. Go have fun. Go to a place you've never been to that you've always wanted to. Get $6 in your wallet.
And get a job somewhere.
Get a job somewhere. Get a shitty job somewhere. Get through. Meet some girls. Have some experiences. Make some mistakes. And out of that, you'll be shocked with what happens.
Yeah, just do something that... you could also choose to get good at a skill that leads you into other communities and other people.
Because he seems like such a nice guy. He's got a good moral compass, you can tell. Pattern behavior.
No, pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition via behavior.
God damn it. God damn it. That's all right, though.
Boys, what's up? High school wrestler. Been in lots of battles on the mat. One battle in real life. It sounds like both of you have gotten into several scraps. I love hearing those stories. When I did get in my one actual fight, the natural move that I hit several times to bring people to the ground and then pound was a foot sweep. Have you guys ever used your feet in one of your street battles, whether it's a foot sweep or maybe something else? Cheers.
I never used a foot sweep.
It's a judo move. Sambo and judo.
I use this. I use the old coconut. I use the upstairs. And I got smoked a few times too. But this is probably a better question for you because you understand technique more than me.
But you have to be grabbing somebody typically. You can use. I've seen Muay Thai guys use foot sweeps, but I'm not thinking foot sweep. I'm just thinking about how to put my right hand on.
But it sounds like that's his go-to move.
Yeah, some guys if you watch Peter Yan fight Aljamain Sterling, he was using those samba trips, and nobody saw those coming, man. You can't plan for those. I was like, dude, this guy is fucking amazing at samba trips, like bang, bang. That all comes from judo. So I've never used a foot sweep, I don't think.
That's probably
I've had
why
it used on me. I've had my feet taken out.
Probably works for him, though, because you're probably not expecting it.
It's a good wrestling move, actually.
Yeah.
It's not something that folk wrestlers ever did. We never learned them. But now with Russian influence and Sambo influence and jiu-jitsu influence and judo influence, now wrestlers, you see these wrestlers now, they're all learning Greco throws, they're learning foot sweeps, they're learning. So these competitive high school wrestlers are not just doing folk wrestling. It's why when you saw Justin Gaethje, who was a D1 wrestler, what happened to him against Khabib was that he doesn't when you're a folk wrestler, when you're an American wrestler and you wrestled in college, you don't learn the shit the Dagestanis are learning. That's Russian Greco. They're Russian Greco and Sambo players. That shit's a different sport. They're using shit like mostly with like folk wrestling, you're doing single legs, double legs. Those are your go-to. You're doing arm drags, maybe duck unders. You know, you're not doing maybe 2-on-1, you know, like head ties, but those guys have a whole system around like especially upper body shit, trips, how to get you on your back, and their transitions are impossible to keep up with. That's why Justin, as great an athlete and as great a fighter, the minute Khabib or those Dagestanis grab a hold of you, like, God damn it. But that's why you're not doing shit. If they grab a hold of you, you can't keep up. You can't. But now guys are starting to learn that they have to understand that language. That's what Conor McGregor's doing. Conor McGregor has Dagestani wrestlers in his camp teaching him shit. And if you watch him when he fought Khabib, the whole point was not to get him to close his hands. You can't let Khabib close his hands around you. You're fucked. You're going
and get
for
your
a
legs.
Ride. You're going for a ride. No, if he puts his hands together around your body, right, we'll see you later. So if you watch, Conor was he was holding that left hand down and keeping.
But he was
away.
Also clipping his legs together.
Well, yeah,
too,
that's
time,
his
right?
move. That's his signature thing.
Yeah,
and everybody knows it's coming, and nobody can
do
stop
anything about it.
And the one thing they always say is, "I can't believe how strong Khabib was."
You can't train for it either.
You cannot train for that. No, you're not.
It's weird that other Dagestani like people would help Conor. Because did he really have like?
So they helped him secretly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had to pay him a lot.
Oh, okay.
It was dangerous for them. Yes.
It's such a tight knit.
I shouldn't even say it but the fact is that
you just got somebody killed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be
blood
very
is on your
bad for a
hands.
Dagestani wrestler if he was caught in Conor's camp, 100%.
Right.
So maybe they were from Azerbaijan, you know, maybe they were from Armenia, you know, Iran. Those guys also have, you know, Turkey. But listen, the Dagestanis, that school of wrestling, you know, you can pay people enough.
I wonder if they taught him wrong on purpose just so he would lose.
No way.
Okay.
You can't teach wrong because it's too easy to see that, like, you know, like, but it doesn't matter. How about this? It doesn't matter.
Right.
You ain't learning. You're not catching up to Khabib.
Right.
It's just, he just has too many tricks. Oh, bring it up.
Yeah.
All right, let's see this one.
Hello, this is a question for Bryan, and I'm just wondering how on earth you stay so handsome at your age. So I'm about to turn 40 in about a year's time, and you know, you can see I'm graying at the temples a bit, and I've got a little bit grey under here, but you remain so unbelievably handsome, and I'm just wondering whether you have some sort of routine, whether it's skincare, you know, what is it you do to remain so goddamn handsome in your later years? Because I want to follow that
food combo. The way I combine my foods.
I'll see you soon, hopefully. Goodbye.
You're a good
He seems
man.
like a nice guy.
That's my favorite guy. That's my favorite Callen ever.
Oh, as soon as he said, "Bryan, you stay so handsome," it was like the sun just the clouds parted and a sunbeam hit me.
And I looked at you.
You looked right at me. And here's what you did when you looked at me. You know what you did?
What?
You started pursing your lips.
Yeah. This is my natural face. If I relax my face totally, we've already gone through this.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you have had an incredible diet ever since I've known you.
What? That's not true. But lately, I've been upping my collagen intake, so my lips and everything else seem a lot fuller. And I hate when people say that because I have a pout, and I guess it's cute. But I'm not gonna take advantage of it. If I do this to my girl, to Kid Dynamite, she fucking loses her mind. She's like, I want to have sex right now. And I'm like, I'm busy and I'm going to hang just out of reach. I hope you don't mind me pouring salt on your tongue and hanging just out of reach with a cup of water. That's a fucking metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Do you have a recipe for this guy?
I'm not that good looking, but let's just say you work out every day and you fucking don't eat like a baboon. Don't eat like a baboon. That's my secret. I don't eat like a baboon. And I love what I do. I mean, you just gotta love what you do.
Okay. All right.
And fucking bro, let me tell you something. as the Chinese say, you're as old as your spine. So when you come watch me train with Lou Parada, the great Lou Parada, and you wonder why we're doing neck exercises, well, it's 'cause your neck goes as you get older. When you wonder why I'm doing goblet squats deep, why I'm doing lunges and fucking hops, and I never miss a pull-up session or dips. You don't want to do those exercises, but they keep your ass, your upper thighs good. You keep your flexibility going.
Yeah.
Your neck, your back, and your ass. That's what keeps your back all together. So
You know what we should do?
what, bro?
I think next episode, so you
Yeah.
can prepare for this, we each do a wall sit and we see who can go the longest.
I bet you beat me because you're a hockey player.
But I'd like to see, because you actually work out though. I don't really work out.
Yeah, but wall sits are a bitch. But I'll do that with you.
Yeah, we'll just see who can go the max.
How long can you hold? Here,
I
let's
beat
try.
you-
Let's try it now. Let's just.
You wanna
try
just do it now?
Try a minute. Let's see how long. A minute. Can you time us?
Yeah.
Just from here to.
Where are we going from? Should I pull this out?
No,
We go back.
just here and just hover just above the chair.
Just
For
hover
a
above
minute.
the chair.
Let's see what a minute does to
Okay,
us.
ready?
Set, go. And, you got thicker legs. Can you go a little lower, dude?
Can I go a little
A
lower?
little lower, bro.
Well, I was fucking down. What do you
Look
want?
at where my ass is and where your ass is off the chair.
You're 2 inches shorter than me. That's why.
Oh, come on, dude. Lower.
I'm what? Does it look like I'm the same?
No.
No.
See?
No.
You see what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, dude. Look at how low I am.
I'm fucking
This is where
squatting.
this is where the burn happens. You're up here. That's a lot easier.
I'm 6 foot.
I'm down here.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
5'6".
You're kind of. You're fine.
We're the same, right?
Kind of. I think he just has better form, so
I
it's.
Yeah,
I
because you
have better
do this shit.
flexibility. No?
It's a minute.
No.
I'm fucking gassed. You'd beat me.
Are you gassed?
Yeah.
I can do this.
My
for
legs were
another-
burning.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll do this for another 2 minutes. Easily.
I bet if you zoomed in, you could see my legs starting to shake.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm not even close to done. I could do this for another.
Oh, you beat
I could
me.
do this for 5 minutes.
You'd beat me handily.
You should read off your dates.
Oh, I should have read off my dates.
Why
Yeah, but that is probably because I do it now. So here's the thing. I do
I'm
squats.
sweating.
Yeah. My trainer makes me like yesterday. He fucked my legs up.
The last time I sweat like this, I was at McDonald's wondering, do I get a large size 2A
You
or a
motherfucker.
number 10?
Damn it. Hey, give us more video submissions.
Yeah. I like these.
All right, but want to say, Bryan, you were awesome. Saw you in Virginia Beach. Steve, bring your ass to Virginia Beach. Shot of Jameson, and your favorite fast food on me. All right, 2 questions.
I love this guy.
For both of your, particular set of skills. Bryan, if you could combine any 2 animals, their strengths, what would it be? I'm going with the speed of a cheetah, but still the size of an elephant.
Can't do that. Doesn't make sense
An
physically.
absolute monster.
No, because you
All
lose
right, and
speed.
Steve, you don't always like to eat healthy food. Neither do I. So if you could combine any 2 foods to make like the ultimate junk food,
Oh, yeah.
what is it?
I already know.
Me, I'm doing Oreos dipped in peanut butter. Yes, that's thick boy status
Ooh,
right there.
okay.
It tastes so good. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good one.
He's a very. I let him watch my children.
Yeah.
He seems like a good guy.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. What are the junk foods that you?
Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd take a New York slice of pizza, and I would take McDonald's French fries, and dump the fries on the pizza, wrap her up, and go to town. That'd be my combo.
I had a mac and cheese pizza with sausage and mac and cheese. I gotta tell you, it was fucking good. Yeah, that's it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Mac and cheese pizza, dude.
Oh yeah.
Mac and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese has got something to say. I'll do that sometimes, bro.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were going to take you. we were going to take it to Vietnam.
Don't say we were gonna, because that means you didn't call.
No, you know why I said no?
Just don't even say. Just say,
no.
Hey, I thought of you.
I said to her, I said
we were gonna take you, but we didn't.
And I said to her, I said, no, Steve won't go. And she said, why? I go, because he's got a show and it's a fancy restaurant, and he'll come up with an excuse not to eat good food.
That's not true.
100%. We had gnocchi, blue gnocchi with gorgonzola sauce. We had this stuff that you're not going to eat. See what happened to your face? You see that? It already
I'm contemplating it.
I'm already angry.
I'm contemplating
angry because you would have been like this. And
no, that's not true. I love a good meal.
Yeah, but you would prefer hi-ho and the other one.
And the other one. Uvo's great.
It's very good.
Here we go.
No, it's very good. It's just please don't compare it to.
No. It is what it is, but it's not. I was going to have the owner of sit down
on today, but I decided not to.
Dude, you know what? You know what's crazy?
What?
I was going to go to Paris, and I was thinking of calling you, but I didn't. And I was like, Bryan would enjoy Paris. They got great food there and everything, but I just didn't call. Sorry.
No, but you had a show last night. I checked with you already. I checked to see what your schedule was, and I could tell. I knew exactly what you had planned. You had a show. And that meant that you were definitely going to get food before the show, and you were going to get something that you have to get, like the window or a hi-ho. I knew. So I wasn't going to even, I could tell that you were busy. And I said to her, I go, Steve will never come to Via Veneto. We were literally, what she said, I have the email. She goes, let's bring Steve to Via Veneto tonight. And I said, and then she goes, what about Steve?
I'm glad that my friend suggested.
Yep. She said, what about Steve?
I'm glad that my good friend Danny suggested that. You didn't.
No, I didn't even look at her. I go, he won't come.
He's got
a show and he won't come. It's not going to happen.
And I won't tell you that I happened to meet Jason Dallas at Carney's last night. I won't say that, but I did. And I had 2 hot dogs and a big box of fucking fries.
There you go.
And I went to bed happy.
There you go.
Happy.
You were happy.
But then I realized, I got to wake up early.
Right.
And do this podcast, and I was sad.
I'm liking this podcast. And by the way, well, anyway, go. I know you guys. I know that this podcast isn't as current as it could be, and it's something that Steve and I are talking about a lot. By the way, you can get do we mention you can get these episodes on Patreon a week early? But what I want to do for sure, and Steve's like, I don't know. But what I want to do is I want to make this podcast more relevant on a weekly basis. And so we're toying with some ideas that I think could be really, really good.
But this has been a lot of fun getting the questions. Can we do one more?
I love it.
That was the end of the questions. We have.
We're done with them?
Oh. Yeah, we have a audio message that someone left on Anchor.
Okay. So can we just mention that if you do have questions, go to the Big and Hungry Instagram page. Is that correct? No,
don't do that. It's such a pain in the ass.
Okay, what do we do?
Email
us.
bigandhungrypodcast@gmail.com.
bigandhungrypodcast@gmail.com. Send us your video submissions, and we will answer your questions right here as we have done today. Big and Hungry
Podcast at gmail.com.
All right, what's the next thing?
Here is a audio submission through Anchor.
Anchor. Well, we'll do an Anchor ad, babe.
Nice.
Before.
Hey, Mary Stuart Fogley, or
Hello.
Her fucking name is Usu Ngole.
Yes, this is all from 10 Minute Podcast.
Recent podcast on Big and Hungry. I was thinking it was the Live in Nashville one. Anyway, just want to fucking send you a message to let you know that you guys are the shit. Thanks for introducing me to Steve. You guys are unique, man. Love listening to all your things, man. Callen, check out anything you put out anywhere, and Steve, definitely got yourself a new listener.
Oh, that's very nice.
I'll send you guys some Doge, but just appreciate you guys.
Doge. Fucking Jake is the best. Jake is high and lying down.
Jake is absolutely lying down.
He's talking into his phone like this. Doge. That's our listeners right there.
He's lying down in the back of a Greyhound bus
that he lives in.
Yeah. That was very sweet though. I like that. I
think Jake probably, his mom is close by somewhere, but God bless him. I like that guy. Thank you, Jake. You're good people.
Let me pull this up.
I saw it. It doesn't matter. We're good. Steve, what else, man? How long have we been podcasting now?
Hour and 5.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
What time you go back to Nashville tomorrow?
I go to Vegas.
Oh.
I go to Vegas to do a show. So. Very excited.
Why are you going to do a show there?
Where?
What venue, bro? What venue? What venue are you doing?
How do you do it?
Well, I mean, if I relax my face and show you how I actually look.
Yeah.
You know what I hate is when people laugh at me for being naturally sensual and delicious. That bothers me. It does. It bothers me. I hate it.
Delicious. It's uncomfortable, dude.
It's uncomfortable for me to have that many people want to kiss me. Okay, so this has been an episode of Big and Hungry.
Bryan,
Thank you
every
so much.
time you make that face, you should just say, I asked for the dressing on the side.
As for the dressing on the side. I asked for the dressing on me. This has been another episode of Big and Hungry. Thank you so much. Come see us wherever we are. BryanCallen.com. SteveByrneLive.com.
SteveByrneLive.com, yeah.
SteveByrneLive.com. BYRNE live.com for tickets. BryanCallen.com for tickets. Go to live tour dates.